It's true. I was a spy. Or at least I played to be one as a kid for many years. Let me tell you about the spy clubs that I created when I was a kid. In my childhood, I created 2 spy clubs. One of them being named the XKids and the others named the VVS. VVS stood for something which I will explain later, and XKids is just because the X is like the most spy letter there is. So the XKids was a club I created with my friends at my father's house. Their names were Nick and Sana, and I also previously mentioned them in the There Was a Rotten Egg in My Pants storytime that I created quite a while ago. I created our little spy club with them, and we would go on missions like every week. Those missions basically were walks. We walked past things, and when we saw something like a piece of log from a chopped down tree, we would be all like, we have to investigate this, and we would just like stare at it for like 10 minutes straight. But it was fun. We decided that my father was gonna be the leader, but the thing is, my father can be really trolly from time to time. So you see, Nick and Sana, who were siblings by the way, went on a vacation, and when they came back, Sana had an infected lip. So like her lip was really swollen, and my father thought that was hilarious and kept making jokes about it. For example, things like we would go to the swimming pool and he would say, I'm gonna have to pay for 5 tickets, and we'd be like, but we're only 4 of us, and he would be like, yeah, don't you think I'm paying extra for Sana's lip? Or submarines have been spotted in the pond here. And then like that was our mission because he gave us our missions and we figured it out, and like after 2 hours of investigating that, we would come back and he would be like, no, there was but new intel, it was not a submarine, it was just Sana swimming there and the lip like stuck out of the water. Or don't stand too close to the edge of the pool, Sana, or people will think your lip is a diving board. Oh, my father's funny. Anyway, at some point, he and I decided that we all needed code names. Like, I don't even remember mine. I believe that was brain or something, like intelligence-wise, because I always wanted to be like the intelligence, the brain behind the organization. Anyway, my father was making up these code names, and he wanted to give Sana a code name that actually was something about her lip, her swollen lip, even though the lip was already gone. Not the lip gone, but this one. So he asked my stepmother, who speaks French fluently, like, hey, how do you say lip in French? And she was like, lèvre. So he then made Sana's code name to be lèvre. So he made us all these club cards because we went like really far with it. So he got the club card for her and she was like, lèvre, what does that mean? It's French. Yeah, no, it's French. It just sounds cool. And she was like, okay. And for months on, she was called that by us, but only me and my father knew the joke behind it. And like after months, we were like, it means lip! Ah! She was just like, oh no, seriously. But she still kept the name because we were used to it, and she was like, well, at least it still sounds cool. So then at some point in front of my father's house, like next to the... It doesn't happen often that I don't know the English word for something. I am a disgrace. Ditch? I thought a ditch was something vastly different. Anyway, a ditch. A ditch of water. There were like frogs and everything in it. Anyway, next to that, there was like one of these machines that working men used to like lift them up. It was like a crane with one of those little cubicles which you could stand in and like lifted you up, for example, at the top of a building or whatever, so you could paint or do something there. It basically was one of those big machines. And it was standing in front of a house for like a few weeks now, and my father didn't know why. So our next mission was gonna be find out what that thing is doing here. So of course we did what every spy would do. We got some water plants from the ditch and then used them to make knots in the electrical wiring of the machine. Yeah. Like, we didn't put knots in the actual electrical wiring, but when you look underneath it, you could see all of the wiring, and we would, like, braid these plants between it for some reason, because we were like, now the evil people have been stabbed. While basically just putting plants in a machine. Like, it didn't break it, luckily, because that would have been bad. At some point, there was some mechanic who had to take them all out, so we're really sorry. And the thing is, it was a rental company. Oh, I've never thought of this in any of these years, because it had been so long, but I hope they got their deposit back. Now I feel bad. It was 10 years ago. Anyway, after that, every time we saw one of those rental machines from that company, I was like, they're looking for me, and I would hide and stuff, and people would be like, what? And I'm like, those people are my enemies. Like, it was a rental company for industrial machines, but they were like my biggest enemy, obviously. The second spy club I had was called the VVS, which originally in Dutch stood for the Friendly Cheerful Spies. Until later on, someone said that the same abbreviation could also stand for Organization of Spies. And we were like, oh, that sounds a lot more professional and cool, so we're gonna go with that. So you see, that was the one I had here with my friends here at my mother's house and at school. So like at some point, I asked everyone in my class who wanted to join, and pretty much everyone said yes. And I actually also have a picture of that when we all had our club cards, because you see, I made club cards for everyone and I gave everyone a code. Fun fact, I still know my code from head. 200.25.B. Yeah. And you see, because the group in the class was so big, I could actually actually give people like certain tasks to do. Like every break, everyone would come to me and would be like, we are gonna do this, you do that, you investigate this, you do all of this. And we would all like split up, and later on we would like regroup and we new intel and stuff like that. It was like really fun. But the thing is then, my nemesis of elementary school, this girl and her best friend, especially this one girl, she was like my nemesis in everything. She was like, I'm gonna make another spy group. And I was like, what? How dare you? So she created the XKS, which in Dutch stands for Dog Cat Spies, because they liked dogs and cats. And I was like, ha ha ha, our name is so much cooler. But anyway, the whole class got divided. Half of them would be like, we're gonna join the HKS. And the others were like, we're gonna join the VVS. And at some point during gym, when like our gym teacher was preparing stuff, there was chanting like, VVS, HKS, VVS. Like everyone was totally in rivalry. Sometimes people like crossed over and were like, can they be trusted? But you didn't know and stuff like that. And at some point, like everyone joined their group. And I was like, no, but only my trusted friends, my loyal group, we remained until we later on got them back. And like there was this whole rivalry. I mean, there was always rivalry between me and her. Fun fact, like 5 years later, I found out from someone that she liked me, and apparently everyone except me knew. Not the best way to express it, I think. And you see, at some point in my life when I was little, I had a spy-themed birthday party. And do you know what happened at the preparation for that party? It was the first time in my life that I ever wore a fake mustache! It was the beginning of an era. It was that inspired me to become who I am today! Not really, but it was the first fake mustache that I ever wore. And now I have a bunch of them on my door! Because I put all of my fake mustaches that I ever use in any of my videos on my door. Fun fact. But because of my whole interest in spies, which aren't really spies, it was more like the movie kinds of spies, I got this huge interest in gadgets. I got a lot of actual gadgety things. For example, an MP3 player that was actually like a thing to eavesdrop on people. Like you could put it in, you turn it up, and it like amplifies noises from far away, so you can like listen on people's conversations. There was also this part where the whole spy thing kind of like killed my mental health, but that's more of an interesting story when I finally do my Draw My Life video. Yeah. You see, people came and go. Some people actually left school because they had to move and everything, so the whole idea of the VVS and the XKids and everything, it was all spread out because more people came and go, but the certain same amount of people stayed in there because you also had the regular people who never left, including of course me. Fun fact, I wasn't always the leader. Somewhere in the beginning, I made this girl the leader of the VVS because at the time I liked her. Like, people tell me I'm not smooth, but handing someone a spy organization, how much more smooth do you think it gets? Whoa! Hey all, Lightfighter here. Thank you so much for watching this new Storytime video. Please let me know down below in the comments. Did you have one of these clubs when you were a little kid? And if you are new here, I would love if you subscribe to this channel. I post something to get to know each other a little bit better like this on Saturday, and on Wednesday I post something to solely entertain you, such as a comedy sketch. All of that to let people know that it's awesome and okay to be yourself and to be unique, and you shouldn't let anyone change who you are because you are perfect the way you are. And if you don't want to miss a video, you can of course turn on the notifications. But above all, I really hope you like this video, and like I always say, just be unique, you're awesome the way you are.